Donation and mining family. What is going on? What up, what up, what up? Sorry about being a little bit on the lizardy late side, but better late than never, as I would say from time to time. I was actually in the midst of switching over the farm over onto what is it, BINANCE or whatever that new profitable coin is. So I've got that swapped the whole farm over onto it except for the AMD because there's no miner as of right now that will allow you to mine BINANCE with AMD. What up, Crypto Bedell? What's going on, Wheeling Crypto? It's like I'm here, hot rods, and my motherboard is fine, but I think my power supply is because it don't turn back on. Damn, that sucks. You can sit there and short out the signal wire in the 24 pin and basically manually turn the power supply on and see if the power supply will try to turn on. I forget which pins they were off the top of my head, so you'll have to look that. You'll have to look that up, my dude, or I can look it up a little bit later on because, like, I have a little bridge thing. I mean, you could sit there and look at the adapter for it, and be able to tell what the pins are. It's pretty simple. What's going on, the Goblin Dude? What up, dude? You just woke me up, yo. Well, hit that Lizzie like button. Go back to sleep. That's what's up, Root. That's what's up. Love it that you're here. Love it. It's like I heard a pop up and rebooted itself twice. Damn. Well, if it's rebooting itself, put a speaker onto it. Are you running Intel? Because if you're running Intel, you can hook up a speaker to the motherboard and listen to the beeps. And the beeps will tell you your trouble code. Or if it's AMD, usually they give you a little code. There's usually a little LED code readout on there. But usually when I see it rebooting itself, it means it's boot looping. Which means that there's a problem somewhere. But to see it boot loop means that the power supply is turning on. So I wouldn't think that it's the power supply, my dude. I would think something else is getting in the way. Something else is the problem. I mean, it's Intel. It's the motherboard that I think you're playing with. But yeah, you can hook up a little speaker to it and listen to the beeps. Count the beeps. It'll Morse code itself. Now the power supply won't turn back on after the incident. Don't know what to say on that one, man. It's like, other than testing to see, bridging the reference line to see if you can turn it on manually without it plugged into the board. If you can turn it on manually, then the motherboard ain't commanding it on for whatever reason. It very well could. I mean, I've seen some really goofy stuff from time to time, but I've got a 15-year-old bronze power supply that I was mining on, and it still worked. But of course, I mean, we're talking 15 years ago, where bronze back then was like gold standard today. But you can always sit there and check to see if that sucker will turn back on manually, because, like, that's what I would want to know before. I mean, if the power supply is smoked, cool. Then it's a fluke of what it did, right? But if you can manually turn that bad boy on, and that thing is sitting there, and you get fan spin on it, and you get voltage off of your PCIe rails, then you know your problem's somewhere else. Because like that's all that I would do is I would sit there to get a multimeter, fire up the if you get fan spin off of it, I'd keep the fan spinning and then go to the PCIe rail, ground out your multimeter, and then probe the power on the PCIe. If you're getting 12 volts there, then the power supply is fine. But that's just me testing. That's my testing mind going into it. It doesn't matter if it's off brand or not to me. Right, for sure, Wheeling, for sure. I'm just little tips of the trade, tips of the trade. I would just test it out, make sure, peace of mind, that type of deal. That's just me. If you don't have a power supply, it'll be really hard too. I mean, not a power supply. Blah, 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 blah. Reverse that. If you don't have a multimeter, then I understand it'd be kind of hard to test it without a multimeter. That would be true. So let's dive into today's little tidbits, guys. Yo. So the 3D FX Voodoo 5 6000 graphics card prototype has been sold for, yep, you see it there, $15,000. Damn. Now, be all fair, this is not a new GPU by any standard. All right, it doesn't even have HDMI. This was just a sample. It was a prototype only, so basic DVI output. This on there. This is nothing that I'd like. I'm not even sure how recent this thing is, but the Voodoo 5 6000 is a single slot GPU running 4 processors on there. So I mean, it's like I'm not even sure how effective this is. I do know. I remember them talking about this a long time ago, and I mean a long time ago. And they were having problems with the drivers on there. They couldn't get it. It's like, you got 4 separate GPUs sitting right in one spot and all sharing a very old standard for this is like component slots. Okay, this isn't even your PCIe. This is pre-PCIe, guys. So check that out. I mean, you're talking component slots. I think it's like component Gen 2 or something like that. I forget how this is dating back so far. My brain's foggy. I mean, like you had the component, which were they were the white slots. And you'd be able to plug in like some of your peripherals and stuff like that. But yeah, this thing is like a piece of history, that's for sure. 100% a piece of history that just sold for $15,000, and it doesn't. It'll work, but there's no drivers for it. Even Voodoo couldn't get the drivers on this bad boy to work right. That's what killed the project for this. But man, I remember this thing from a long time ago that they were talking about, Voodoo was like always trying to push the limit of, how far can they push a GPU and stuff like that for back in the day. And not all their ideas were spot on. Some of the Voodoo cards were pretty decent back in the day. Like, oh, a Voodoo card. I love this things. It's like, you don't like it, Goblin? I don't like it for the price tag. I mean, but it is a piece of electronic history. Bro, this is like something that people don't even know it ever existed. Like, I've only heard rumors of this thing ever being like tried. And I know that I remember the project getting scrapped. I don't even remember how long ago this was. I don't remember exactly on that one. I'm not sure if they did or didn't. Uh, so yeah, I don't have any prior knowledge on that aspect. But this is it's like if this thing ever came out back in the day, if they were able to get the drivers to actually work on this, this definitely could have been a game changer. I mean, look at it. It's like it's just got the old school display, the old school DVI port. It's got a barrel jack on the back side of this thing. It's like, what the hell is this all about? Is this supposed to be like an audio jack too? I have no idea. I really like. I only know rumors about this thing. 128 megabytes of VRAM on this thing. I know it's got all the VRAM, guys. I mean, for back in its day, this would have been like ahead of its time. This would have been a game changer for back then, but unfortunately, didn't happen. Whoop, 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 whoop. It's like, you want to know another thing that's like having issues now? The Chinese graphics card company More Threads, so the MTT S80 is now having issues even trying to compete with a GT 1030. Womp womp. So a GT 1030 is kind of like giving it its run for its money. So the card was manufactured by, as I said, a company called More Threads. It's one of its more important developments in the GPU space since the Intel Arc launch. So this is the fourth GPU manufacturer coming into the arena, guys. So the S80 is no doubt a significant milestone for the More Threads company. A second generation GPU based on the Musa architecture. This card features 4,960 FP32 cores, 12 nanometer GPU, and very interesting specs, machining, competing product. The most important one is the 16 gigabytes of VRAM on there, which is pretty decent. PCIe Gen 5 support, which is not available with any modern GPU yet. So I mean, they were trying to be forward thinking on what they were going to be doing on it, but you could put all of this extra stuff in there, and it's like, is it really giving you any performance gains? Some of that stuff, like if nobody is supporting Gen 5 PCIe, right, then that's like sitting there and putting a flame on a car and going, it's got flames, it's fast, right? And it's like, no, not necessarily. If your bottleneck is that nobody's supporting anything past Gen 4, really. So I mean, you can have a lot of the glitz and glamour on there, but if you're not able to do the basic fundamentals, which is 1080p maxed out, especially coming into the GPU market this late into the game, right? Your product should be able to, your gold standard is 1080p max settings, period. And anything below that, it's like it's like either you didn't really try, or your engineers really don't know what they're doing in the GPU department. Which, if that's the case, fine. It's like, but why launch a product that's clearly not really ready to come to market? I mean, I like the overall look of it. It's nice and understated on there. But when you're comparing it to a GT 1030, that's just the little cooler fin over here on the right, that's a low profile card. It's like you're going to be struggling against that. The card was put against a GT 1060 and a 1030, both based on the same Pascal architectures we all know. Despite their age, these cards are a much better option than the S80 for gaming. Although the Chinese cards is advertised as such. Although, MTT and NVIDIA architectures are years apart. The 30-watt GT 1030, which is passive design output, outperformed this 250-watt card in nearly all game benchmarks, guys. That means this thing is, going to be it's of no competition. It's like at that point, if you can't even outperform a 1030 at this point, it's like just get an Intel CPU with onboard graphics at that point and save your money. Seriously, I would be certainly saving my money from a card like this. It's like I want to be. I'd like to, get not be so crucial on them. But it's like if you're going to be sitting here making a card and bringing it to market, it better, at this point in time, it should perform really good. And in here, I can see just by looking at this is the PCB. That shows China doesn't have shit on Taiwan. That is true. And I can sit here and take it. Now, here's me with my engineering mind alone, okay? So these 4-corner memory modules here, right? Versus the 2 memory modules in the middle. If you look at the distances between the chips and that CPU, I mean, it's not CPU, the VGA core itself, right? You're going to notice that there are pathway discrepancies here. Unless they sat there and made all these traces identically the same length, your bottleneck on the memory is going to be of the slowest performing memory module. The rest of the modules will auto-tune to its least performing module. Period. So if they did not make sure that all the pathways of these memory modules were of equal length, you're going to have performance suffer. The performance is going to suffer from the memory side alone. Let alone how they're optimizing their the cores on this. I mean, granted, I don't know what drivers they're using and how they're doing their shaders and all of this stuff, and because all these other games are going to have to sit there and kind of understand that this card even exists to be able to kind of half bake them into the games too. Whether it's like a performance setting that you put into the options that will be tailored more for this graphics card. But for mining wise, no. I good try, more threads. But you need more refinement at this point. And possibly, I mean, you're going to be, and they're going to be taking a 250 watt card, right? 250 watt card, and they've got a single connector on here. And it's not even a high wattage connector, right? But I do like the idea that the connector's all the way at the end. I do like this. I'll give them that. The connector is all the way at the end. They did that right. Makes it nice for cable management. For anything, whether it's in your own personal PC or in a mining rig. Cable management means that you get proper airflow in between components. It's like I really can't get behind it, especially if it's not even keeping up with a GT 1030. I mean, that's a low benchmark. A passively cooled GT 1030 has better value. I hope that that's just a driver issue on their part, that they don't know how to write software for drivers. That very well may be it. But yeah, I bet the new Intel Arc GPUs would outperform those MTT cards. And yeah, a CPU with onboard graphics would be definitely better. Holy crap. That's a whole lot of thermal paste. 100% driver thing. Yeah, I mean, I hope it's just a driver thing. I mean, it looks like it has the potential to being something good. It looks like it. But maybe they need more refinement. And if they need more refinement, that is fine. I have no problem with that. I mean, it's like, I'm just saying that at this point in time, with this juncture, not supporting it. I would support Intel over this only because of the fact that Intel is a much larger company that has a lot more years in the game to understanding what they're doing. And we're already seeing them with a few driver launches for Intel that Intel is becoming a pretty good performer. Now, again, with the mining software that's out there, they're not optimized for Intel. Nobody's really designing anything for Intel. There's just not enough demand for it. And with that, with the little half-assed miners that have been out there for that people. I mean, I used one miner. I forget which one it was now. For mining on my ARC A380, and it mined like poop. And I know that it's because, one, it's a new GPU, and two, somebody just threw something together just to make it work. Didn't work well. Is there more optimizations that they could do through the miner? Probably. But nobody's doing it yet, so there's that. But, yeah. Let's go on to... Oh, God. I hate this page already. Rooters, you guys suck. Finally, it worked. I turned it on and off like 3 or 4 times, and it would not go into dark mode. It just did it. It's sweet. It just took forever. Check this out. So, let's go right on into today's topic, my dudes. So, New York regulators order Binance stable backer to stop issuing tokens to Binance. Yo, check this out. So, New York's chief financial regulator said Monday it has ordered the firm behind Binance's stablecoin to stop issuing token after finding it could not do so in a safe manner in a blow to the world's biggest crypto exchange. The New York Department of Financial Services said in a consumer alert it has ordered Paxos Trust Company to stop minting Binance USD, citing unresolved issues in Paxos oversight over its relationship with Binance. Basically, they are sitting in the lion's den of where currency is created. And they cannot have competition in the backyard type of deal. That's what it kind of sounds like. I don't know what kind of shady dealings are on the backside of all of this, but they've been doing this for a while, and it's not been an issue up until now. So one of the NYDFS's spokespersons told Reuters via email that Paxos violated its obligations for tailored periodic risk assessment and due diligence checks on Binance and Binance USD customers needs to stop bad actors from using the platform. So in other words, they're afraid that there are people on the Binance side that are non-US citizens are getting access to BUSD. So, womp womp. Now, this also comes in with Paxos having issues they because of banking times that the BUSD seized for a little while, like a few months ago, right around the time of the FTX collapse, that the BUSD seized up, and they said it was not a liquidity issue, but it was a bank was closed issue, because BUSD has to bank accordance to U.S. banking because Paxos is where they were banking through on this. So what's the up, nefarious? My dude, long time no see. SEC and U.S. declaring war on people from making money. Well, it's not just a war of people making money. It's also the war on anything that's competitive to that said money. So it's a war on two fronts. Plus them trying to deplatform anybody who has a voice that can be spreading any kind of knowledge to letting people know, hey, this is the game they are playing. So yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's definitely a war on two fronts with this one. But with the BUSD, I mean, it's like I can kind of understand where they're coming from on this one. If there's like some shady upbringings, but you know, with how they're doing their issuance. Removing competition for FedCoin. Pilot in New York State. Odd chance? I don't know, man. I don't know, man. You know, hard to say if there might be a little bit of a quinkydink here. It's like I think this is more than just a coincidence that they have been slowly. New York has been slowly pushing out anything crypto out of the state. They now have the ban on mining inside the state, which it's like allowing FTX situation to happen, going after Kraken and Binance, who have been bending over to give regulators what they want. Yeah, but at the same time, they're trying to give the regulators what they want, but then they're sitting there offering, it's like, which is, the SEC has things against basically staking, because they look at that as something that should be done with accredited investors, not the general public. So I think that's what Kraken got nailed over, and Binance really hasn't been. I wouldn't say that Binance bends over backwards for any government. I mean, Binance fled to Malta for a reason. I'm just saying. So, coincidence that the market starts to recover and this trash starts up. And yes, they have accused Kraken of using their customer funds. And if they have, they need to go, then Kraken needs to crash and burn. If that's what happened, a lot, in order for these companies to sit there and give yields, either the people who are creating the tokens issued them to whatever exchange to slow roll it out to their customers. Okay, that's one possibility. Or two, they're playing with your money. Period. They're all getting caught with their pants down on this one. That's why I don't leave my coin on any freaking exchange, because that is like the ultimate issue. Is like, okay, they're gonna be highly tempted because they're looking at the live data. And they've got your funds there to not play with it. Yeah, but you got to understand that even though Binance is following it on one end, they're not on the other end. So that's what they're gonna start pinching on Binance over, is that Binance is not pushing the U.S. regulation across all of the cryptocurrencies on their platform in total, and stopping bad actors from being able to utilize those funds. So now you have a chance of somebody on the Binance global side that might be on the CIA's ban, the government's ban list, is what the way that they're looking at it, and the way that some of the verbiage is being written out, is that if somebody that's on a sanctions list goes on to Binance, international, and sells their coin on there, that somebody in the United States could be the buyer on the other end. Now, do I see that as an issue? No, because it's agreed upon transaction with Binance being the intermediary, right? So I don't see any issue with it. But the government's going to be like, well, you enabled this transaction to happen with somebody in the United States that was from our sanctions list. Yep, the paperwork and the wording of said contracts, they penalized everyone. Yep, that's all it takes. It's a knee-jerk reaction from FTX. That's all this is. I was wondering when the SEC was going to come out with a big old, just be like, give me my baby powder, whack it up. I was waiting for it. I knew that the SEC was too quiet after the whole FTX thing. It's too quiet for too long. They could do the same thing directly without dragging Binance into the middle, which has been dictating the value of the coins for the last 5 to 10 years. Yeah, I was slowly waiting for the hammer to fall. Then the book, then the building, and then the building. For sure. Yeah, it was inevitable. They were going to have a knee-jerk reaction because it's not about being proactive. It's all about being reactive. And when you're reactive, you tend to overreact. It's the same thing with how it works with regular finances with the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve overreacts in every situation, and they mess everything up on their end. Gary Gensler even said, "Not your keys, not your Bitcoin." 100%. And they know they can't do anything about Bitcoin. There's nothing they can do about it. But when it comes down to all the other coins, oh yeah, they can come down on all of those other ones with a boom, guys. So Paxos had said in a statement that it would stop issuing new Binance USD, which is backed by traditional cash and U.S. Treasury bills, but would continue to support and redeem the tokens until at least February of 2024. So you guys, if any of you guys have Binance USD, you have until next year to offload that out of your wallets, guys, and put it more into a traditional spot like Tether if you're wanting something stable. But it's like they're not going to be able to do this any further because of the fact that it is backed up by U.S. currency and Treasury bills. They do not want any of these tokens to be held by anybody on the sanctions list. So this is going to instantly ban, and it's going to get Binance in the crosshairs because they're going to be looked at as enabling money laundering and sidestepping sanctions. Yeah. You're heading out. Move closer to the farm. Yeah, I know. She's asking when you're heading out to move closer to the farm. Not sure quite yet when we're going to be going to the farm, like moving out to the farm. As soon as we can get the 0.5 megawatt worth of power up and running, and we can get the facility fully kitted out, then there'll be enough income coming in for me and Mikkel, and I'll be able to relocate closer to the facility. So it just depends on how quickly we can get because we've got all the stuff set up we've requested for a 0.5 megawatt worth of power, so 500 kVA is what we've requested. And now we're waiting on the power company to not be dragging their feet and get us the contract. And Yeah, so we can get it signed and we can get everything moving forward. So until the farm is actually like making money, it's really hard to move forward. Like, what you running at now? What do you mean right now? What am I running at now? Like power wise? I should have like 406. The power at the facility. I'm running 600 amps right now. Well, soon to be 600 amps. We have another 200 amps coming online here. So another 200 amps coming online. That'll put us at a grand total of 600 amps, and we'll have that almost filled out right off the bat. Yes, we have 2 customers in there right now. Just 2. And the other one dropped their stuff off at the facility knowing that we didn't have the power set up for him yet. And he was just like, hey, I'm driving through. I'm dropping these off. When you get the power, plug it in. So we're getting the power in. And hopefully we'll... So hopefully we can get this going very quickly. I'm more excited for trying to get the 500 kVA. That's a half a megawatt worth of power. That place will be humming. You tried calling me? It never came through on my phone. Oh, no. 3 weeks ago, I was in Dominican Republic. I was in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, my dude. Rude, I plan on being cheaper than frickin' everybody. I want everybody to be mining with me. Period. There's gonna be nobody that's gonna compete with me. I guarantee it. Personally, guarantee it. It's a freaking numbers game at that point. I'm mining myself. I don't need you guys to make me my money. I mine personally. That's my mindset behind everything. The facility mines. You guys are basically taking up the space I'm not using. So you're just basically helping pay the rent and helping pay the electric. You're paying your fair share of the electric and a little bit kick back into the rent. It's all I'm charging people. Period. I'm not trying to make an astronomical killing off of my individual customers. But I guess I keep telling everyone, telling it to everyone. And there's more knowledgeable. Yeah, exactly. I've derailed the vid. Bro, Nefarious, don't worry about it. I've derailed the vid. Hopefully there will be a better clarity of regulations to everything, and actually, ironically, ETH and SEC are together. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I'm hoping that we get some more clarity on this. I know that from the way that it looks like for the staking side of things, that they're going to be looking at staking as no different than than like startup investors where you got to be an accredited investor, because of it's so capital intensive. It so until and like unless somebody sits there and goes, staking is fine, here are your regulations on it that you're allowed to as a little person versus a big guy. Okay. But until then, they're kind of both being lumped into one thing, and I think that they're being nailed as a security at that point. Rude, I'll take either one, man. Some beef or like a nice T-bone steak. Give me the meat. It's what's for dinner. Too funny, too funny. So yeah, I mean, I've got my, it's like, and then going back with the facility, and it's like, we're gonna be making sure that the facility is gonna be ran nice and smooth. You'll have on-site repairs and everything there. I mean, and they won't be there at first, but yeah. Like, well, asking individuals appears to be okay, the usage of staking on exchanges, but the abuse that FTX availed, in the situation with Gemini and Genesis, it's that they've been sitting here. The real problem behind all of this, and this one, I'll stand on this hill and die. You can't, as a company, issue tokens and hold that token on your balance sheet as if it adds value to the company. It is your product, not your bank account, right? So if I'm holding on to tokens, I cannot put those very same tokens onto my balance sheet and say, "Oh, look, my company's worth $10 million." Because I own this much token and they're worth X amount of dollars per token. No, that's not how things work. They never should work that way. And that's the problem, is that now they know this is not how it works. So they do the three shell game on you, right? They're like, where's the real value at? Where's the real Bitcoin, right? And you lift up the thing and you got FTT token. Ha, you found the not Bitcoin. You found a phony, right? And here it is. They've been sitting here pushing that garbage into so many different companies, and these companies, because they're looking at, oh wow, this is value. I'm able to spend this and pay bills, right? So now these people take these coins, instead of it being on my balance sheets, because you know what? I can't put my token on my balance sheet and call it a market cap for the company. But I could push it over there onto another company and give it to them as a loan. And now I've just wash traded my garbage token for either Bitcoin or cash from whatever company I handed my garbage to, right? That's basically what FTT did. Is that it was a shell game of them pushing out garbage and FTX and Alameda getting good money back in, right? Whether it was in the form of actual hard cash or if it was in Bitcoin. But they were getting the money flow coming in while pushing out a useless token. Due to the fact that you're not releasing your funds to somebody else to hold, and when something happens and said funds become bankrupt, holdings and the people lost money. Exactly. And that's the problem. FTX blows up. Stablecoin blows up with them. And now everybody in a blink of an eye lost. This is why I tell people don't play with shitcoins. Because this stuff is not abnormal. This is the norm when it comes to shitcoins, is that eventually the company is going to blow up. And when they blow up, value drops overnight, and good luck. You dry your tears off and move on. You know, you lost. And every token that's been underneath Bitcoin that has rose up into the top 10 has come up to the top 10 and then fizzled away. Ethereum seems to be the one that's held on the longest so far in that top 10 standings. Good for them. Don't know how much longer they're going to actually be able to sustain that, because their centralized garbage is slowly imploding themselves, right? So, I mean, it's not going to be too much longer before Ethereum itself, might not die off as a project, but definitely loses its ranking in that top 10 category. It's not a matter of if, it's just when. So, but check this out, guys, talking about, losing money. Security firm Unciphered hacked into a popular hardware wallet, OneKey. So if you guys have ever used OneKey, you may want to pay attention to this. So the cybersecurity startup Unciphered demonstrated a notable hack from the crypto wallet manufactured by OneKey, a Hong Kong-based firm that had raised $20 million last year. Unciphered showed what was called a man-in-the-middle attack. If you guys don't know what a man-in-the-middle attack is, it means that your computer or your laptop or your phone is already has a computer virus on there. And it's basically when you go to copy something and it goes onto, you go to copy a text of something, it can change it and put its own text in there. AE like a crypto wallet. So you go to send funds out, you go copy pasta, and you don't double check that the two addresses match up from what you copied to what you pasted. That is the man-in-the-middle attack. This one is not a new feature, guys. You can have it with any electronic device. So always when you're sitting there and doing any kind of copy pasta, always double, triple, quadruple check your wallet addresses to make sure it's correct. It only takes a few seconds to double check, and then if you don't and you got a man-in-the-middle attack, you're going to be crying, because there's no way of getting that back. You just went poof, gone. So always triple, quadruple. If you wake up in a cold sweat, check it again. Never trust. Verify, verify, verify. And if you've been drinking or whatever you may have been doing, don't be sitting there sending funds. You have a bigger chance of making a goof up like that so easily. One typo and it's gone forever. But that's not the only thing. So what no one was really affected, but they were able to show that an FPGA. So if you guys don't know what that is, it's field programmable gate array. They were able to use an FPGA to basically go through, iterate through different algorithms to bypass the wallet's security and extract the mnemonics. Unciphered said. OneKey acknowledged the vulnerability in a statement and said that it has updated the security patch. No one was affected, the company said, emphasizing that the potential attack as a demonstration by Unciphered cannot be exploited remotely and would require both the crypto wallet and the user to use specialized FPGA equipment. So basically, if I can touch it, I can crack it. And it looks like they acknowledged it and beefed up their security a little bit, because probably nobody had thought about brute forcing it through an FPGA quite like that. Possibly, Goblin. Possibly. And then going right along with that too, OneKey has fixed a flaw that got its hardware wallet hacked in 1 second. So Uncipher posted a video showing a massive critical vulnerability in the One Key Mini. The creator said it's been patched, and they are now working on further securing the wallet. They should have been doing that since day one, but neither here nor there. The crypto hardware wallet provider One Key has addressed a vulnerability in its firmware that allowed one of its hardware wallets to be hacked in a second flat. So this just kind of goes along more with that, careful with your hardware wallets. I treat hardware wallets more like my wallet that I put into my back pocket. I'm not going to put everything I have into one of these hardware wallets. Would I be afraid to put $100 to $1,000 into one of the hardware wallets? No. I've put $1,000 or $100 onto a Treasure. It's not a problem. But again, I'm not going to sit there and put the bulk of my stuff on there. It's just a way to spread my assets around so I can easily grab one of them and I can spend it, do what I need to do with it, or just kind of splitting stuff up. So if one device takes a nosedive, I'm not getting wiped out of all my crypto, right? Yeah, the same hack in the past with the miner hack that changes the mining address that people don't catch for a very long time. Typically, you don't know until you've lost your miner's address. Yeah, for sure. And you're like, man, I haven't gotten a payout since I turned this on. What the hell's going on? And you're like 2 months, 3 months into it by the time you're checking in on your wallet to see how much you're getting. And you're like, empty still. What the? And then you go into the pool side and you see that it's getting payouts. Or you go to click the address that you had, you pull it out from your wallet, and you click on it, and you don't even see your miners there. They never connected to it. And you're like, what the hell? And then you go to your miner, pull that wallet address out, and you see that it's not your wallet anymore. And you're like, son of a wow. Until the share is reflected on the mining sites you're monitoring. Yeah, exactly. Until you have to double check that stuff. Always, guys. Man in the middle attack will affect even us crypto miners, guys. But when you're able to sit there and take a hardware wallet that you can touch, you can crack it. I have put some pretty hardcore encryptions on the USB stuff, and I've been able to sidestep that 9 times out of 10. I don't think there's been a time that I had like one of the times that I went to go sidestep my security, I used an older USB and it bricked it and put it into read-only mode. It was just a cheap USB. Whatever. Pulled out another one, did all the same thing, and it was just like, oh, sidestepped. Bam, sidestepped. It's like, if I could touch it, I can sidestep the security in there. It's not an issue. Now, if the crypto never existed onto that hardware wallet, now you got a different story going on. Now you're talking about a custodial situation where you just have a signing key here, and you never own your crypto. Then I have a bigger issue with. He downloaded a bad copy of Hive or something like that. He had it on like 2 rigs of his or something like that. It was like 2 of his rigs were having it, like he wasn't seeing on the pool all the time. But yeah, I remember that from Brandon Coin. For sure, the Ferris. Have a fun little walk, my dude. And check this out for one of the last articles for the day, guys. Bam. Huobi Cloud Wallet no more. Exchange pulls plug on DeFi multi-token wallet. So Huobi has announced the impending closure of its cloud wallet service, citing strategic adjustments for the move. Uh, Cryptocurrency exchange Huobi has announced that it will discontinue its cloud wallet platform in May of 2023. So if you guys are using their cloud-based wallet, get your crap off there now. Do not wait. Citing strategic product adjustments. As per announcement on Huobi's support page, maintenance and upgrades of the multi-token wallet service will officially stop on the 13th. Users that are still using the cloud wallet are being encouraged to transfer their cryptocurrency and non-fungible tokens to their main Huobi accounts or other wallet addresses. Huobi Cloud Wallet withdrawals and transfers functions will work for the next 3 months, while users are cautioned to transfer digital assets to their cloud wallet. While users are cautioned not to transfer anything back to their cloud wallet. Huobi Cloud Wallets are officially decommissioned as of May 13th, 2023, guys. So, if you guys are using this, get your stuff off of there. They are sunsetting this option. Hold on, my dude. I will get you right here. Copy. There you go. That's my Twitch handle there for crypto and hot roads. So yeah, I mean, guys, stay keep your head on a swivel. This market is still shaking people out. It's like, I'm heading off to bed, bro. Peace out, my dude. Peace out. I'm gonna be heading up out of here too. But guys, don't be leaving your crypto on exchanges unless absolutely necessary, guys. Like, you're actively trading. If you're not actively trading, get your coin off the exchange. You do not know if that exchange is going to be there in the morning, or if they're going to get slapped with a sanction, or if they're going to blow up like FTX. Don't leave your coins on the exchanges. This should be a valuable lesson for everybody. Don't be trusting third-party cloud wallets. Why don't we trust cloud wallets? Because it's somebody else's computer, not yours. So therefore, you do not have control over your said assets. Don't be that person. You know, we need to make sure that we are in control of what we purchase. That's some of the niceness that some of the stuff that draws a lot of people in to crypto is being able to take control of their personal finances and being able to have censorship-resistant money. If you're sitting there and leaving it in a cloud service, you are defeating more than 50% of what the environment is supposed to be enabling. So, everybody, you know, it's like, don't be leaving your stuff anywhere outside of wallets you have full control over. And that nobody else knows you have them, so that they don't try to steal it from you and try to hook it up to an FPGA. It's like, people. It's like sitting there and walking around going, I have $1 million in my suitcase here. You know, and thinking nobody's going to try to do something stupid. You know, it's like, don't be walking around going, hey, I got all this crypto, I'm rich. No. No. Be a little humble about that. You know, and even if you got a little bit of crypto, man, a little bit of crypto in 20 years might make you a millionaire. And somebody's going to reflect back on and go, oh my God, I know this guy. I can go take his crypto now. I'm poor and I'm motivated to do something stupid. That's the problem. Money makes people really motivated, especially if they're really hungry. So be careful with that. You know, it's like we don't tell people personal information. You don't tell people your bank account stuff. Don't tell them about your crypto stuff either. It's like, yes, I tell people I'm into crypto. Yes, I tell people I mine. But I don't, that's about as far as I go with it. Like people ask me, how much Bitcoin you got? I got at least $10 worth. What, you gonna hold a gun over to my head for $10 worth of Bitcoin? Take it. For sure. Much love, everyone. Have a great evening. Stay humble and stack sats. Yeah, stack sats and hodl. That is true. True, true, true. So thank everybody for being here. With that being said, definitely, if you haven't done so already, smash that Lizzie like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that good, juicy stuff, guys. You all rock, my dudes. Every last one of you. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And if you are wanting to have your rigs hosted at the family mine, and you want to make sure that you have space on the shelves, because once we get the 500 kVA in, space, when I open up the doors to the public, that space is going to be gone that quick. So you're going to want to get into the VIP section, join the Patreon, links down below. Get into the pseudo hasher tier so you can secure yourself a slot on my shelf. Guarantee yourself some room here, right? So that when we start getting the power in, we call up all of our VIP members first. And then we open up the doors to the public for whatever is left. That's the way it's going to be, guys. So if you want to take advantage of that, have your rigs hosted at 9 cents a kilowatt hour, all in, effective. That's it. You want to be in there. And if you're not if you're not a miner, that's fine. That's cool too. That's cool. Join the Discord link down below. That's free. Be a part of the community. We're not 100%, all crypto and crypto mining in the Discord. We're gamers. We're car junkies. We do a little of everything in there. So come join the shenanigans in the Discord, guys. And with that being said, I'm going to take off here, guys. So peace out. Stay savage. And may your watts be low and your hash be high. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.